Recently, Saudi Arabia presented plans for the most ludicrous and massive mega project ever. Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince, plans to erect two parallel skyscrapers that will rise 500 meters high and span 170 kilometers across desert and mountainous territory. The Mirror Line is the name of the undertaking, and realizing this would be like constructing the two World Trade Centers from 2001 adjacent to one another. Considering that so far, only 12 skyscrapers worldwide have surpassed the 500-meter height threshold. It seems crazy to construct 4,000 of these at the same time and location. So why did Saudi Arabia make this announcement? Can they actually make it happen? Or are they merely attempting to attract attention on a global scale? Few nations in the world can boast a transformation strategy as comprehensive as Saudi Arabia. The kingdom released its 2030 diversification plan in 2016. This would lessen the nation's reliance on oil while directing the economy toward industries like tourism and technology. Since then, they have made public the NEOM Master Plan, which is meaning New Future. NEOM will be a futuristic smart metropolis made up of three enormous mega projects. The Octagon, a floating industrial complex with 8 sides, is the first phase of the development and would act as a port for ships traveling across the Red Sea. The city will also include a well-known outdoor skiing resort called Trojena in the Arabian Peninsula, where entertainment and events should go on all year round. All of these plans are extravagant, but none of them compare to the Mirror Line, which was originally unveiled in January 2020. Recently, more information about this adage has come to light, and to say it is wild would be an understatement. What is the Mirror Line then? It consists of two buildings with a combined height of 500 meters, which will be parallel to one another and span 100 kilometers of arid land. There will be only 200 meters between these parallel buildings' mirror image exteriors, which will be used to house a 9 million person city. Beginning at the Red Sea's Gulf of Aqaba, the linear city will extend inland, passing over mountainous and arid terrain. There will be walkways that connect the two mirrored facades. The majority of the interiors will be vertically constructed and have public parks inside. Homes and offices built on top of one another. In essence, their aim is to vertically stack the components of a typical metropolis on top of one another. Additionally, their proposal calls for the use of cutting-edge technology and is completely sustainable. Vertical gardening built into the 500-meter-high walls will feed those who live there. Additionally, the building is planned to have a sports arena that rises 305 meters above the earth and a marina for boats. But can it be built? And will Saudi Arabia ever own it? The Mirror Line has been dubbed a revolution in civilization by the Crown Prince. The Mirror Line, though, feels more like a vast paradise that could come to life out of a work of literature. By 2030, Saudi Arabia hopes to have portions of it completed and more than 1 million people living there. The Mirror Line, however, simply promises too much in too little, despite the fact that humanity has erected some enormous structures in some of the most difficult environments. Currently, Saudi Arabia has a poor track record of constructing remarkable skyscrapers. For instance, the Jeddah Tower, which was slated to top the list of tallest structures in the world, is still under consideration even though it has only grown to around 1/3 of its initial projected height. The fourth tallest skyscraper in the world is located in Saudi Arabia on the other side. There has never been anything like the Mirror Line built before. However, it might be contrasted with the ambitious aspirations of Illinois. This structure was intended to be 1 mile tall more than 60 years ago, which at the time was simply ridiculous. The Mirror Line may only exist on paper or in this case in 3D models and promotional movies, much like the Illinois, but this time the entire world is. Also, one of their trailers has already been viewed by almost 50 million people. Why then such Saudi Arabia make such an exceptional proposal when the promises are almost certainly unattainable? Saudi Arabia has embarked on an initiative to rebrand its image ever since Mohammed bin Salman assumed control of the nation's affairs. A part of that rebranding push are initiatives like the Mirror Line, which are sure to gain notice on a global scale. Saudi Arabia may wish to diversify its economy to include more tourism in order to position itself in a nation with a lot more to offer. But at the moment, pilgrimage is what draws the majority of tourists to the nation. Saudi Arabia aspires to be viewed differently in the eyes of the world community, and announcements like the Mirror Line aim to capture attention. Additionally, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who has compared the project to some of the largest mega projects in the Middle East and views the Mirror Line as my pyramid, attaches importance to it personally. Announcing an astonishing project in the center of Neom, which is intended to become Saudi Arabia's own architectural landmark, will heighten interest. Neom might also be considered as a study project for alternative city structures and contemporary transportation concepts, since the website further indicates that Neom is a vision of what a new future might look like. The launch of the Mirror Line has successfully brought Saudi Arabia to the attention of the world. But the majority of reactions haven't been favorable. There are a lot of unsolved questions. They want to create an entirely sustainable transportation system in a city with zero emissions. Though not to mention the significant carbon burden that constructing something like this will have. The line would generate up to 2 billion tons of carbon dioxide, which is more than 4 years' worth of the whole United Kingdom's carbon dioxide emission, according to projections from Oldfield at the University of New South Wales. When you take into account these massive construction emissions, the idea of building a carbon-neutral metropolis doesn't sound all that compelling. The human cost of Saudi Arabia's objectives in the area is already being calculated by detractors, who have also been quick to draw attention to Saudi Arabia's human rights record. Several indigenous groups spend hundreds of years residing in towns and villages. Around 20,000 people, according to foreignpolicy.com, are compelled to make space for Neom. Additionally, Saudi security agents are alleged to have killed at least one protester by shooting him or her. The nation has failed to enact sensible labor reforms, which has resulted in widespread mistreatment of migrant workers. And the government hasn't yet provided a strategy for dealing with it. Raising money for the trillion-dollar mega project will be difficult because of the country's questionable human rights record. The country continues to be mainly blacklisted by the West, which makes economic collaborations difficult, despite the planners' hopes to entice global investment. Despite receiving the funds, there are some plans for Neom and the Mirror Line that are simply too intricate to implement. The majority of observers think that the final design will look considerably different from those that are being promoted in media outlets. According to what we've seen so far, Saudi Arabia lacks the kind of knowledge necessary to make most of its recent assertions a reality. The size of the Mirror Line project is too great to finish within the next few decades, even with assistance from abroad. Regarding the Mirror Line, it's also crucial to consider whether people would truly choose to live there. For the time being, we think of the Mirror Line as a notion for alternative lifestyles. But in reality, the project is vastly overscaled and has numerous issues, including the aforementioned violations of human rights and its viability. For this time, it remains an unachievable task. And a more practical strategy would be to incorporate some of these futuristic concepts into Saudi Arabia's current cities. How do you feel about the Mirror Line, though? Would it still be a science fiction fantasy, or could it ever be built? Post your comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. This is Lux Lifestyle Travel Plus. We appreciate your time, and we'll see you in the next video.